What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I have another one of my own requested tops list video to share with you guys today. And this time I will be sharing with you the top 3 moments in video games that made me cry. Now, this list was requested again by a good subscriber of mine going by the name of Mark Main. And I gotta be honest, when it comes to making me cry, not a lot of movies and video games can do that, but certainly a good amount of them. And I'm simply going to go over my top 3, so try not to laugh at me too much. But number 3 on my list in terms of video game moments that made me cry was Argo's death, or supposed death, near the end of Shadow of the Colossus. Now, you don't have to be so blind to the concept that Shadow of the Colossus is undoubtedly one of the greatest games that came out during the PlayStation 2 era. And to this day, if I ever get requested to do like a top 10 greatest games that I've ever played in my life list, you can guarantee that that game would be on that list. Because what made Argo's death so sad is that although this game does not have the horse really say anything, it's just the fact that this horse has been with you since the very, very beginning, and has been with you since some of, in my opinion, some of the much harder Colossus fights throughout this game. And it's just the sad fact that right when you get to the door, the stairway to the final boss, that he won't be with you. And he actually throws you off, like you're going across this bridge, and you have to run across it, and right as it's collapsing, like you're about to fall, and the horse really just throws you off and saves you, and he just falls down. And it is just like so tragic. It's like, wow, I just lost my only friend throughout this entire game that has been with me through the hardest parts. In fact, if it wasn't for him, you couldn't even take some of these Colossus, and now I take on the hardest one by myself. That alone was very, very emotional for me, and I was legitimately sad. I actually had to take a little bit of a break the first time I played that game and just give myself a breather, kind of get myself into the mood. It's like, okay, we're not going to let Argo's death be in vain. We are taking this Colossus down, and that is exactly what we did, and that is why number 3 is Argo's death from Shadow of the Colossus. Going into number 2 comes from my favorite franchise of all time, Metal Gear Solid. And there's no question that if you are a Metal Gear Solid fan like I am, that franchise has dozens of moments that will make you cry if you love this franchise as much as I do. But the one moment that really stands out to me is really pretty much the ending of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is my personal favorite of the entire franchise. Now, the ending, spoiler alert if you didn't already know, it pretty much tells you that the boss, which is really kind of seen as one of the main antagonists of the games, you find out that she was actually sold out by her country and sent and made to defect so that the United States government could get a hold of some money, this large sack of money. And so you pretty much were tricked into killing the very person that really trained you and you had a close connection to, and was a bit like a mother to you. So to be used like that, it was just tragic that the boss would self-sacrifice herself for the greater cause, despite the fact that she knew what was really going on, and she did everything she could not to tell Snake the truth. And really, the boss's death is the one pivotal event that really plagues Big Boss's life over the next, I want to say, maybe 2 games throughout Portable Ops, and especially throughout Peace Walker. And, you know, he finally gets closure of it all the way in Metal Gear Solid 3. And heck, that event takes place decades after he actually kills the boss. And it's really that one signature moment where Big Boss actually visits the boss's grave, and as he's saluting, he actually shows a little bit of tear. Just one solitary tear. And it, you know, I think it's very, very emotional for a badass like that to show emotion, because, you know, sometimes people would say that it's not proper for badass characters to cry. They're not supposed to have emotion. They're supposed to just be this unstoppable force that can just take down anything. But to really show someone like the Big Boss in such a vulnerable state that this moment really is going to haunt him for the rest of his life is truly emotional. And, you know, playing it a second time, I didn't even want to pull the trigger. It was that emotional. I did not want to have to shoot the boss in the head, but that is what she wanted. And I find that really tragic, and I think it's that one moment that, in my opinion, makes Big Boss a much deeper character than Solid Snake, despite the fact that Solid Snake 2 is a very deep character, and that is number 2 on this list. Now, number 1 is a little bit difficult for me to talk about because I don't want to go too deep into it, but if you've known me long enough, you'll understand why this has to be number 1. Number 1 is not an entire moment, it is an entire existence of a game. And that game is FF13. I'm not going to say it because that game is not fucking Final Fantasy. I don't know what that is, but Square Enix completely disrespected the entire franchise by slapping that sacred name onto a piece of fucking shit that was. I mean, literally, every ounce of that game was designed to systematically destroy and spit in the face of everything Final Fantasy ever stood for. Now, Final Fantasy is the very franchise that made me the type of gamer I am today when it comes to that I value story over gameplay. It was Final Fantasy that started it, and to see it really hit such a low. I mean, I had a certain low expectation for how bad a game could get. This completely obliterated that. And it was really one of the most pivotal moments in my entire gaming life, that if they could fuck up a game like Final Fantasy so bad, no franchise was safe. And that is what has made me a very, very cautious gamer in terms of the types of games that I buy. Like, if I'm going to spend $60 or like $100 and something to get a collector's edition, I want to know I am getting a great game, and a game that I will be playing multiple times even after I've beaten it. And the only way I'm ever going to forgive what happened is if Final Fantasy XV, which is undoubtedly going to be the last Final Fantasy game that I ever play. I've already made that statement, I'm saying it numerous times, that will be my last Final Fantasy game. Is that if that is the greatest Final Fantasy game of all time. Because then it makes sense, because we had to go through shit like 3 unnecessary games that have that sacred name slapped onto it and do nothing but spit in the face of this franchise in order to get to the greatest of them all. And that is the only way I'm ever going to forgive this game for what it did. And with that, those are my 3 video game moments that made me cry. Now, if you actually had a couple moments in video games that made you cry, please tell me in the comments down below. And if you like this video, or if you like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track me in my future topic videos. And if you actually have a particular topic that you would like me to talk about, please tell me your idea in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.